My favourite season has to be autumn. Although when it gets to autumn, I feel slightly disappointed because I know that after summer the weather gets colder and the nights get shorter and the evenings get darker. I still really like autumn. One of my favourite things about autumn is when all of the leaves fall off the trees and you can walk about and crunch in the leaves. However, I think my favourite thing about autumn is the conkers. I love it when conkers fall off trees and you can collect them. When I was at school, we used to collect conkers and put them on strings. And then we would have a competition to see who had the best conker. We would hit our conkers with somebody else's, and if yours didn't smash, then you could have 1 point. So after your first game, your conker would be a oneer. Then if you won twice, it would be a twoer, and so on. It was a really good game, and it kept us amused for hours. Conkers are great fun. Have you ever played conkers? Maybe you should. Why don't you try it this autumn? So, Akane, what do you think about children today having mobile phones?
Mobile phones, well, I think they could be a good thing. For safety reasons.
Really?
Yes, if I was a parent, I think I would feel safer knowing that my child had a mobile phone and I could get in touch with them whenever I need to. And if something happens, like an emergency, then they'll be able to use the mobile phone.
You see, I would argue that they're quite dangerous, actually, because children don't really have the best attention spans anyway.
Yeah.
And often they could, for example, walk into the road whilst they were talking on their mobile phone and generally not pay attention. So I don't think they're very safe.
Oh, well, that's a good point. But that could also teach them responsibility as well. If mobile phones are unsafe, bicycles could be unsafe and toys could be unsafe, but that's all part of growing up, and I think that if you teach them responsibility, it shouldn't be a big problem.
But I think fewer children these days play on bikes than they used to. I think children are more dependent upon technology, and I see that as a definite negative thing, because children don't play out as they used to before, and they just stay in and watch TV and play on computer games.
True. I suppose so. But technology is a necessity in our lives, and in the future, if we want them to become competent in using technology and taking advantage of technology, then I think it would be a good way to start.
Don't you think they're really expensive, though?
Yeah, they are.
If I was a parent, though, I would not want my child to be phoning people left, right, and centre because it would cost so much money.
Well, you could be right about that. They do cost a lot of money.
Oh, I'm glad you agree. Well, yeah, at least we agree about something now.
For sure.
So, Akane, you're from Canada, right?
That's right.
Tell me about where you live.
Well, I grew up in Toronto, and it's quite a big city. In the Greater Toronto area, there's about, I think, 3.5 million people just now, and it's very multicultural, and that's one of the things that I really like about Toronto, is that there are many different people from many different countries.
And do you live in Toronto now?
No, actually, I haven't lived there for a year now, I think, almost. Or actually more than that. because I've been traveling and working and whatnot.
Oh, right. What's your job?
I'm actually a teacher.
Oh. Do you teach children or adults?
Usually I do. I'm mostly trained to teach younger children, but recently I started teaching older students or young adults, and I quite enjoy it actually.
So which do you prefer?
Well, they both have good parts and bad parts, and I think in the future I would like to do a bit of both.
All right. Do you know where you would like to live in the future?
I have no idea. I would like to travel to different places, and maybe I'll eventually settle back down in Toronto, where I'm from.
Do you have family in Toronto?
Not at the moment, no. My parents moved to Vancouver, and that's where they live right now.
Oh, Vancouver. Is that in Canada as well?
That's right, it's on the west coast of Canada, and the weather's much warmer there, and that's why my parents like it there.
Oh, wow. It sounds nice.
Hi, Leslie.
Hey, Simone. Have you heard that they're making the third episode of the new Star Wars series?
Yeah, I heard about that.
Do you like Star Wars?
Well, the old Star Wars that they made 20 years ago, I really liked.
Me too. What's your favorite episode of the old series?
Of course, that would have to be number 2, The Empire Strikes Back.
Really? Mine is the original Star Wars.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you like it so much? Why is it the best?
I think it's the best because the characters are really different. In the second and third one, they're kind of, they begin to mellow. But in the first one, they're really different.
Oh, you mean that each character is distinct from the other character?
Right.
Yeah, I like the second one better because it's a little bit darker and cooler.
Oh.
You know, the bad guy, Darth Vader, of course one of the most famous bad guys in movie history, plays a bigger part. And you know, there's the drama, and plus the fighting and the space scenes are all a little bit better and cooler.
I see. Well, my favorite character is Princess Leia. Do you know why?
Well, I'm sure you'll tell me.
Well, because she was the first positive, strong female character I saw in the movies. She was take charge, told everybody what to do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, she was popular with both girls and boys.
Right. Hey, did you have any Star Wars toys when you were a kid?
Yeah, of course. I had the Luke Skywalker action figure.
Ah, I see.
How about you?
I can't remember, but I don't remember if I had any toys, but I had the soundtrack to the movie.
So yeah, can you hum a little bit of the soundtrack right now?
No, but I could tell you most of the dialogue from the first movie.
So you could say that you were a die-hard Star Wars fan.
I am a die-hard Star Wars fan.
Yeah, when I was young, me too. Yeah, hi. I want to talk about watching sports like live or on TV. I mean, I like to play sports more than I like to watch sports, but sometimes a good game on TV or watching it live can be really good. You know, everybody or many people like to watch the Olympics or the World Cup of soccer. I mean, those kinds of sports are really, really exciting. I like to watch them too. I like to watch a good game on TV if there's lots of build-up and tension before the match, it's even better. One sport that I've been really getting into recently is Japanese sumo wrestling. Yeah, it's quite a spectacle. Many Westerners think that it's kind of a joke, a bunch of fat guys in tiny underwear bashing their bodies against each other, but there's really a lot more to it than that. I mean, these guys are incredibly athletic. They also are quite strong, and they have a repertoire of martial arts and wrestling ability. It's pretty amazing to watch. I mean, the matches are really, really short, so sometimes the uninitiated don't know what's going on, but basically the rules are stay on your feet and stay in the small circle, and and try to get your opponent to fall down or to go out of the circle. That's why they only take about 10 or 20 seconds to finish each match, because they do everything they can, and then finally, before you know it, the match is over. They do wrestling throws, they do martial arts, they do all kinds of things. It's really fun. And there's the whole ritual with it as well. I mean, it's pretty amazing. Like many people, I like to travel, and there's many ways you can travel, many forms of transportation. Probably the main three that I want to talk about now are by car, by train, and by airplane. Now, each of these forms of transportation have their pros and cons. Would you agree?
Indeed, I would.
So, what's your favorite form of transportation of those three?
I would have to say the automobile.
Well, tell me some of the pros of traveling by car.
That would be mainly freedom. Freedom of movement, freedom to stop, freedom to go, freedom basically.
Okay. What about a train? What are the advantages of being on a train?
I would say good views of the countryside. You can move around on the train. You're not stuck in a car. You can go for a cigarette. You can get something to drink. You can go to the bathroom, which you cannot do in a car.
Okay. Let's talk about the airplane. What are some of the advantages of flying?
Speed.
That's it?
That's all I can say about that. Yeah, speed.
Okay. Let's talk about the disadvantages or the cons. So what are some things that a train has that is not that great?
There's nothing I can say bad about a train except, train's good.
Okay.
Price.
Yeah, price. And many countries, train travel is very expensive. We are traveling in Japan, so the train is very fast and efficient. However, it is expensive. Another thing is that you're confined by schedule and things like that. How about the disadvantages of a car?
Pollution, accidents, cost. Yeah, cars can be expensive too. Maintenance, gas.
And how about the plane?
Disadvantages of a plane, lack of view, and that stale air.
Yeah. Also, I could say the sort of fear factor. Yeah, and being confined to a small space. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna talk about what I would consider a perfect day. Of course, that day wouldn't be a working day, it would be a day off. And it would have some of my favorite things in life, which would be like eating, relaxing, and playing sports. So, the day would start off with me sleeping in till about 9 or 10 o'clock. Get up, make myself a glass of freshly squeezed orange juice or something like that, maybe grapefruit juice. Pick up the daily paper and read it for a while. After that's done, I'd probably get ready and just drop into a friend's place. Drop by unannounced. No planned meeting or anything like that. hang out at my friend's place, chat, talk about, probably talk about where to have lunch, Since I love eating, I'd have to go out for lunch. Probably somewhere where there's a patio or a nice place to eat outside or do some serious people watching. Yeah, I want to talk about one of my pet peeves. A pet peeve is something that you, as a person, don't like. You personally don't like a habit or a mannerism or something that other people do. For example, a pet peeve could be people who don't like wrinkled shirts, or they don't like it when people chew gum in public, or like the noises some people make, or habits, mannerisms. For example, my grandmother's pet peeve was, messy clothes, or people who wore messy clothes. She didn't like that. If someone had a hole in their sock, she would sew it up immediately. She just hated it. It was her pet peeve. If you didn't wear nice, clean, crisp clothes. Some people's pet peeve is, is when other people talk on the cell phone. Things like that. Yeah, my pet peeve is a little bit more complicated. It's a little bit more unique, I think, than other people's pet peeves. But it's when Canadians wear or embroider Canadian flags on their backpack. That's just something that's annoying or irritating for me. It's my pet peeve. I'm Canadian, so it's not like I don't like Canada or I don't like Canadians, because I am Canadian and I do love my country. But it's just so cheesy when I see so many travelers, usually the backpacking kind, that put Canadian paraphernalia, especially Canadian embroidered flags, on their suitcases or backpack. I don't know why it bothers me. I guess I think it's not cool, or I can't see the reason why to do that. I mean, people tell me it's to show that they're not American, but who cares? You should be able to just tell them, hey, I'm from Canada, I'm from Vancouver, I'm from Toronto, I'm from Saskatchewan, wherever. Yeah, it's something that I can consider as a personal pet peeve. Don't do it, Canadians. Computers are an amazing thing. They've really improved people's lives over the past 15 or 20 years. You can do word processing, you can access libraries of information, you can communicate with your friends 24 hours a day across the globe, you can do art, you can watch movies, you can play music, all sorts of interesting and cool stuff that makes life more pleasurable or makes life easier. It's really an amenity that's been a big part of most people's lives for a long time now. And they always seem to be improving and getting bigger and better. Well, actually, they're getting smaller and better. But why is it that over this time that computers never seem to run smoothly all the time? There's always little glitches and problems. Computers are getting better, but so are viruses. Programs are getting easier and better, but they're also getting more expensive, and you always have to upgrade, because what you want to get doesn't work necessarily with what you have on your computer. Internet connections are always speeding up, but there's always a slow internet connection, at least 20 or 25% of the time. If you want to run something, you always need to download this or download this. This program is incompatible with this program. When you're on the internet, there's always strange pop-up ads and things like that. Email. Oh, your mailbox is full. Too much memory. Yeah. Printers. Printers are the worst of all. After all this time, why is it that printers always break down when you need to print something on time? Hey, there's my little ramble about computers. But all in all, they're good. Because without computers, there wouldn't be such a wonderful sight.
I'm going to talk for a few minutes about running, because running is something that I really love and also really hate. It's funny how you can love something and hate something at the same time. I like to go running in the park, particularly after a long day at work, when you've been inside for the whole day. It's really nice to go outside in the fresh air and get some exercise. And after the run is finished, you feel so good. You feel really good about yourself, and you know you've done something worthwhile and something which is healthy too. Sometimes I like to go to the gym and I like to run on the treadmill, but I think it's easier to run on a treadmill than it is to run outside on the concrete or on the grass.